Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and we're back with another Q&A video. This is Season 2, Episode 10.
Woohoo!
Getting right into the questions. Our first few questions were already answered in the comments, but we figure it's probably worth giving them a little bit of a wider audience. We know a lot more people will watch these videos than look at any one individual comment, so we figured it's important. The first one comes from Marko Milo, and they say, "Damn, this is an amazing team setup."
Oh, just to note, that was about the Red Sun team, MP team video that we just did.
Yeah, and they say, "Looks fun as hell, and really great to use. Awesome video, guys. Keep up the great multiplayer teams and gameplay. P.S. Love how you show the gear setups for each card in the team. It helps immensely."
Yeah, so what we originally said, and I think it's a point that I think, like you were saying, I'd like more people to really understand it. Well, I mean, we were glad you like it, but the unfortunate thing is that sometimes based on how much time we've got to do stuff, we have to decide what we do based on views.
Yeah, for what's more valuable to you guys as the audience.
Yeah. The play itself doesn't take long, right? The video is maybe, 12 to 15 minutes?
Yeah.
What really takes the time is augmenting, and in other cases, not the Red Sun one, but spending the time to do the breakthrough promotions. It takes a huge amount of time. So if there were more views on these MP videos, it would be easier to justify doing more of them.
Yeah.
And we'd like to. I guess part of it is that, I mean, it's not like this is... We're far away from being able to make a living at this, so it's not like we need to devote a huge amount of time to this.
Our next question comes from Cano, and they say, "Why won't y'all do iOS glitches?"
Yeah, so we already answered this one too, and it's really because I'm not that interested in spending $500 to support Apple. There's something especially to me that's kind of offensive about not just having proprietary charging cable standards, but then change it on your own users and make them pay again for all the accessories that they've already got.
Yeah.
So I guess that means if we were to get an iOS device for free, we might be convinced to play on an iOS, but really, at this point, it's a good chance that we wouldn't have enough time to play enough on a different device to get familiar with how the system works a little different. I mean, not all the glitches are the same, right?
Yeah, it's true. Android is much better for glitches, actually.
So, yeah, in case, for you guys who are watching us, in case you didn't notice, we're not like other channels that will basically quickly post crappy little videos about glitches as soon as we hear about them or discover them.
Although that is kind of how we started.
Yeah, no, we post our crappy big videos about glitches,
yeah.
And we take the time to actually figure out a little bit about what's happening. And I guess the other difference is we play a lot. We play a lot, probably more so than a lot of the other guys. Usually it's the focus is in one or the other, like glitches or play, and not typically both. So yeah, I think we're a little different.
And I know we can talk about it again. We've already hit that point, but it is a hobby for us. And at the point we're at, people have spent a lot more on a lot less as far as viewer base goes. But like however many $100s it would take to get a working iPhone,
yeah,
even if it's refurbished or something, just for the ability, for almost like the privilege to make that videos and test the glitches out for iOS, many of which, like, people can still figure out if they work or not in the comments, right?
Right.
It just doesn't seem like it's worth it to us for what is essentially a hobby. That would feel more like a work expense than something that we bought because we felt like it, right?
Yeah, tell us when we were above the poverty level, and then
just from YouTube money, by the way, we're not talking about.
Oh yeah, right. But that. If once we're above that, then there's a chance that we'd be able to get some benefit of like a tax write-off or something, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Anyways, our next question comes from Abyss Prime, and they say, "This channel, and I'm really sorry to say, is dead without an update."
Yeah, I guess thankfully there are at least some people who disagree with you, because typically, I mean, when you say something's dead, right, you're talking about that it's not really doing much at all.
Yeah.
It's because on the one hand, I can see your point if we interpret it a little differently. Our views are way down in January. But on the other hand, this sounds like a vote against our MP teams because, we just posted 2 brand new MP teams last week in addition to our recap and Q&A. And, for us, that's the opposite of dead. I mean, remember how when we started, we were aiming for maybe a video per month? And then, and then we struggled to film something every week. And it's kind of weird to me how our perspective changes. based on what we're used to.
Yeah, because now we're doing a Q&A every week. We've kind of split off to do a recap, which is a much kind of smaller undertaking,
Yeah.
but still another video, right?
Yeah, so, listen, the views on the gameplay videos are decent, but not great. I mean, if you'd asked us when we first started and we were excited about our first 100 subscribers, I mean, this would be beyond what we could have expected.
Oh yeah, the views are still consistently good enough that I think we're still happy to do the channel, right?
Yeah.
Because
Oh yeah.
we may not be willing to buy an iPhone.
Yeah.
But the money that we make is really separate from our enjoyment of the channel in a lot of ways.
So maybe, alright, so let me put a challenge out to people who are watching right now. Let us know if you still want to see more of the MP play videos like Marko Milo did, or if you agree with Abyss Prime that they're not worth the time. That this is a sign that our channel is dead.
Yeah, because we can totally do like kind of really sparse content in between updates, and then after updates do that kind of rush of everything new like we normally do.
Yeah.
But we'd like to hear from you guys. We know there's definitely people watching.
Alright, so because when you think about it too, let's put it in like dollars and cents, right? For our MP play videos that make what, like if you were saying 1,000 views, that's like $1. To do it for the sake of doing it, if we didn't like it, $1 isn't worth our time.
Yeah.
But we like it. That's why we're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there we go. That's the answer to that. The next question comes from USMC03, and they say, "Great video. Here are my 2 questions."
All right. So sorry, can I interrupt? Is that just if you're watching USMC03? Is that U.S. Marine Corps? If it is, thank you for your service. Anyway, sorry.
And they say, "Great video. Here are my 2 questions. I'm sure you know the method to clone your account. The one to use to temporarily unban their account. If I clone my normal not banned account, could I get banned? I was thinking of cloning my account in case the first one gets erased or a disgruntled player that I've beaten in revenge on multiplayer tries to report and ban me. Which leads me to my second question. I've heard a lot about this on the Injustice Warner Brothers forum. Have you heard of people being banned by players who are beaten on multiplayer for revenge? This actually happened to my nephew. Thanks."
Alright, so this is, I'm going to answer in a roundabout way. I'm going to give you all the information and I'll get to it, but it's hard to just drop the answer without some context. The hard part is that most people don't know all the reasons they were banned. A lot of people change too many things on their account or do too many questionable things at the same time to know what caused the ban. And sometimes they can do something accidentally, so they're not even aware of what they did.
Yeah, so we have an example here. This was a comment from Edwar Tepeu, and they say, "I was banned. It was just because I was abusing of the last laugh ticket glitch. It was not fair."
Yeah, and, we've literally... I'm going to say that that's wrong. I mean, obviously he was banned. He knows he was banned, right? We can't really dispute something that we have really no actual first-hand knowledge of. But the fact that we've done the last laugh ticket glitch hundreds, probably thousands of times now without getting banned is really sort of our answer to that. Yeah, it's always been a risk that the people who fight against your team, who look through their fight history and see your team, might decide to report you to Warner Brothers. But it's when it comes back to the sort of will this get me banned video, right? There's always a chance that if you have something in your account that's questionable, or even if there's a bunch of guys that have basically a hard-on against you, right? And they have something personal and they want to just do something in your account, they can report you and Warner Brothers will ban your account. But as far as the auto-ban stuff, if you clone your account, it's not the cloning that will get it banned, but it's that people who typically have their account banned, if they clone it, they're cloning the same stuff that was the problem in the first place.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not a bad option. It's not, from everything we understand about cloning, it doesn't trigger the ban, but it's also possible because when you clone an account, the identification associated with that is built into your progress. We've always thought that there's a chance that if you clone an account and the one associated account gets banned, it wouldn't be too hard for Warner Brothers to decide we'll ban all accounts that are associated with that particular ID.
Yeah, and I think the fact that you're thinking about it and that you're actually asking these questions in a pretty well thought out manner, right, means that you're probably not one of the people who's at a huge risk of getting banned, as long as you use that same kind of carefulness in the other things you do.
Yeah, and here's one of the other things too that might seem like a little silly, but we've never really taken the chance of bringing a brand new challenge character online early, because there's a risk that people... Oh, there we go. that we didn't quite get to the return on time, that the people will look at it and think, oh, there's no possibility, and they report you even though they're poorly informed and don't actually know.
Yeah.
People have gotten banned for less. There was one guy on the Warner Brothers forum who's like a great resource. He puts out really good information on injustice, and he got banned probably because there's a bunch of he was really outspoken against hackers, and there was a hacker board that decided that they wanted to give him a hassle. So
yeah. Okay, our next question is a bit of an interesting open-ended one, and I like this question personally, and it comes from Sack_SAK, not SACK.
right.
And they say, if you could fix something in the game, what would it be?
Okay, so I saw a few of the comments afterwards, and, I mean, I'm sure those are all good reasons, but not the one that matters the most to me, right? To me, the best thing they could do is screen better for hackers who put stuff in that's not possible.
Yeah.
So, actually, even if they had stuff that was not possible, or stuff that was way past what you should be able to do, right? Like, let's say when Breakthrough they had 60 and Elite 10 characters, level 60 and Elite 10 characters, I wouldn't have even minded if they say had an announcement that the early maxed out cards, whether it's the elite stuff or gear when it started, or maybe unreleased characters, if they even told us, hey, these are plans, these are setup accounts from Warner Brothers NetherRealm. We've done it just so that you can have some interesting fights, some brand new stuff, so you can see what the potential of these characters are like.
Yeah, that would be cool too.
Yeah.
For me personally, I don't know if this is necessarily exactly a fix, but what I would do is rebalance the currency systems right now, because right now they do need a little bit of work. Like, I would make the in-app purchases more reasonably priced, because honestly, I would be willing to buy in-app purchases just to support the developers if they weren't so just such an obvious rip-off, right?
Yeah.
I want to support the developers, but it almost feels like disingenuous to like be buying from them and showing them that their in-app purchase system as it currently is working.
Right, you don't want to encourage it.
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? So the only thing I think we've done so far is the treat recharges. To me, that actually is...
And that's fair, yeah.
Fairly priced.
That's a good way of supporting them.
Yeah.
I would make it so that Last Laugh tickets worked on a better system. Mm-hmm. Where maybe Last Laugh tickets were either a currency outright, or if you still want the kind of randomness of the wheel, you could just make it so that instead of getting a legendary gear, you would actually just get or a gear, you would get like a small amount of currency in those kind of premium slots, right? Where the amount of currency you would get would be based off the slot instead. And I feel like there is a lot of kind of nitty-gritty that you could talk about as far as like what each thing would be worth. But if I could just fix something without really having to go too in-depth about exactly how I would fix it, it would be that. It would be making sure that the currency systems were fair and felt like they took work, right? Effort, grinding, without being just totally kind of impossible to fully complete.
Yeah.
So realistically, the best case scenario for that would be where every currency system takes a lot of work, and some can still take more than others, but are like theoretically, even if it's just a small chance and only for the most dedicated players, possible to complete everything. Like, right now we can't ever fully augment anybody. Like, everybody, sorry. It's, like, not possible without hacking. You can't, crit chance and crit damage every character in the roster.
But getting close. I mean, with the last laugh ticket glitch, it's at least
more
possible, yeah.
Yeah, but it's, like, it's not really realistic. Just the time that it would take. So many hundreds and hundreds of hours. But, yeah, so that's what I would fix.
Okay. So we're actually out of gameplay, and I guess we could either make the executive... We've got one more question, and maybe we'll just be a little bit more boring and have nothing playing on the screen.
Yeah.
And answer it kind of quickly.
So this comes from Mica Ray, and they say, help me with a gear set for Injustice 2 Aquaman. Accept all the Survivor Mode gear sets, please. And we shot back with not enough info. How
yeah, we were just trying to get more...
Basic damage dealer, special specialist, tank. Who else is going to be on the team, and which roles will they fill? And he says, I've tried out several formats for my team. SS Harley, damage dealer. Injustice 2 Aquaman, tank. While Aquaman is stable now, using Mortal Kombat X Scorpion as specialist, but he is useless. Rapid health loss. Harley, Razagul, Simtar, League of Assassins Knives, Gauntlets of Azrael, and Injustice 2 Aquaman, 4th World gear set. I'm looking for a specialist among Killer Frost, which one? Suicide Squad, Unhinged Joker, and Injustice 2 Superman, and which gear to use.
Okay, so certain things jump out at me when I'm looking at that setup you've got, right? So first, you've got Suicide Squad Harley Quinn with the Scimitar, League of Assassins Knives, and Gauntlets of Azrael. She's geared totally wrong to be a basic damage dealer. So Ra's al Ghul's Scimitar is okay, but the League of Assassins Knives is for a specialist that's going to be using Special 1 a lot, and especially for somebody where you're going to take advantage of the ability to stun.
Yeah.
Or sorry, because then you can really the Cloak of Destiny with the League of Assassin's Knives is probably one of the best, absolute best, sort of builds for that.
Yeah.
Gauntlets of Azrael is completely wasted. You haven't geared her damage enough to get the most out of the life drain that the Gauntlets of Azrael really offers. I mean, the health boost is okay, but it's not really game changing. And none of your gears has a crit chance on the basic damage, so it means that the payoff from the Gauntlets of Azrael is going to be low. And you've wasted, well, it's not so much wasted, but you've got a slot taken up if she's going to be your basic damage dealer for a power gen for special and special 1 splash damage.
Yeah.
So as an aside, the only card I like having the gauntlets on is at this point Jessica Cruz, because she's got so many hits on her combo ender, so that she doesn't actually have to be maxed out damage to still do a huge amount of life drain.
Yeah, if they came out at the same time, I would say there would be no doubt in my mind that they were definitely made for each other.
Mm-hmm.
But they came out a little bit different, so it's a toss-up whether they made Jessica Cruz to be played around gauntlets or not, but either way.
Yeah, so if you're going to use Suicide Squad Harley Quinn, she needs to have at least one of the gears that has a basic damage boost in addition to crit chance on basics. So, Bloody Sword, Prometheum Sword, the Power to Screama Sticks, Netherrealm Kama. Even Mark of Lady Shiva maxed out is almost as good, even though it's a lower star. So next thing you gotta do on that team is decide if the next basic damage booster, or sorry, not on team, but on Suicide Squad Harley Quinn, if the next basic damage booster has more crit chance, or if you want a secondary effect like heal on Special 1 or stun on Special 1. And that depends on whether the crit chance on your Harley Quinn is maxed or not.
Yeah.
Because if it is maxed, you only need the one. If it's not maxed, then you probably want to stick another one like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so your choice of your choice of the third player, Injustice 2 Superman, is too good as a basic damage dealer. We'd almost never use him as a specialist because he's just so good at juggling, and he's got sort of a built-in protection so that you can have him as an only basic damage dealer because he's very unlikely to take that kind of big Special 1 or Special 2 damage.
Yeah.
And out of the two Killer Frost, absolutely Killer Frost Prime. She's great as a specialist, and she also has that power damping passive, right? So one gear setup on her you could use would be the Ibis stick to increase your power gen. League of Assassins Knives. You mentioned no survival gear sets, but you already mentioned that you have this one and her Thermofrost necklace. So all of that gives you the extra power generation. She's doing a huge amount of damage, and when she does, it slows everybody down, and she can get a whole bunch of hits in really without taking any damage.
And sorry, I think we should point out real quick. Injustice 2 Superman, he was using as his tank, not a specialist.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if you're putting him as a tank, that means you're not using him as a basic damage dealer, right?
But you said I'd almost never use him as a specialist. He wasn't using him. He was using him as a tank. So
I thought Injustice 2 Aquaman was a tank. And his last bit was he's looking for specialists among Killer Frost, Suicide Squad, Unhinged Joker, and Injustice 2 Superman.
I'm out of it. Sorry, my mistake.
Yeah, it's you know what? It's the endurance run of having an extra long video. So I hope that was worth it. I hope we didn't alienate anybody by getting that last question from Mica Ray in. Thank you for your patience and watching with us. And please let us know if you want to see more MP Online videos.
We will see you guys next time. Komoda.